a decade, we will have the ability to have a chip that you can implant in your brain, that you can have improved communication. Maybe you can have enhanced memory. That is going to be with us. So, should we say, no, we don't want that. We want to stay as we are, as humans. We don't want to go anymore. That's not something humans have done in the past. Humans have gone along with progress. The first implant that I had, which is about 10 years ago now, was here. That was a radio frequency identification device. And that just identified me to the computer in my building, so it opened doors for me and said hello and switched on lights. The last implant that I had was a lot more serious, however. The main part of the implant was positioned here in my nervous system, and surgeons opened up my arm and found the nerve fibres and fired into the nerve fibres 100 electrodes. I then had wires running up my arm coming out at this point here. And at this point there was a little connector pad, so I had electrodes that I could plug into the computer. So for the 3 months of the experiment, what I was able to do was to plug my nervous system into the computer and hence onto the internet. And either by moving my hand, send neural signals from my brain, nervous system, into the computer to control things. Some scientists have estimated we only actually sense 5% of what's happening around us. Very small. There are all sorts of things happening, X-ray signals, ultraviolet signals. Our brains have no notice of it at all because we don't sense it. For our project, we could also stimulate, we could also send pulses of current onto my nervous system that my brain could recognize. And that was an exciting part of the project because, for one part, we took ultrasonic signals, fed those signals down onto my nervous system to stimulate my nervous system. So what my brain was receiving were pulses of current dependent on how far objects were away. So by stimulating, I've experienced an extra sense. What I experienced was just one part of extra sense, that is sonar, ultrasonics, which is like a bat senses the world, and a bat uses it to fly quickly around caves. That was, for me, the most exciting thing scientifically that I've been involved with. She had electrodes pushed into her nervous system, and with my implant, electrodes in my nervous system, electrically we linked our nervous systems together. So what happened when she moved her hand, chook, 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 my brain received 3 pulses, chook, chook, chook. So we communicated telegraphically, nervous system to nervous system, for the first time in the world. Quite clearly now, communicating brain to brain is the next step.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Human beings are a disease. You are a cancer of this planet. And we are the cure. Whoa.
Robotic human surrogates combine the durability of a machine with the grace and beauty of the human body. With most people living their lives through their surrogate selves, our world has become a safer place. Take a seat in your STEM chair, and just with the power of your mind, You can control your surrogate and send it out into the real world. You see what they see, feel what they feel, and become anyone you want to be.
You hear the sound of the background, people saying, Big Brother, too much information, a little scary. How do you respond to that?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I used to get that question a lot 2 years ago. Today, we've gotten it a lot less. In fact, the Attorney General of Mexico and some of his staff have received this chip for security purposes. And when the acceptance rate of the product goes up significantly, like it has, some of the privacy concerns go down. But to answer your question directly, Lester, what most people are concerned with is the invasiveness of this, that it goes in your body. And as we know with pacemakers and other medical devices, that when people accept it for its applications and for its ability is when it'll work its way into society. It won't be tomorrow, it won't be next week, but 2, 3, 5 years from now, slowly but surely it'll work its way into the mainstream.
Sean Darks, chief executive of CityWatcher.com, didn't want to ask his employees to do anything he wouldn't do, so he had this chip embedded under his skin. The chip has an access code for admittance into a room holding security footage for government agencies and police. For Darks, the tiny chip is a security solution. No IDs for employees to lose. They can't. It's right there, in their arm.
The public cannot be allowed to get the idea that using a surrogate can be fatal. Especially if it's true. I just want to know how an operator can be killed by signals from a surrogate. We've made too many compromises already. Too many retreats. They invade our space, and we fall back. They assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.